All right, everyone. Welcome to Two Guys, One Swamp, the podcast. We're your hosts, Austin and Trey. Happy holidays to everyone out there in Gatorland. We're happy to be here as always. This is our fourth episode, Trey, and we're really keeping at it. Uh, kind of like season 22 of Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you've seen that, but no
No, I
one
have not.
for it. But uh, we're keeping going. We're keeping chugging along here, right?
I guess I hope we're not already hitting the season 22 staleness.
No, I think we're prime about season 5 or 6, Grey's Anatomy for now. So we got a long way to go. But we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. First topic is John Summerall's inaugural staff is now complete. Did not take very long. I remember with Billy Napier, we were waiting a while into January, I believe, for him to complete his staff. But John Summerall's is done. Um, and after the Tulane Ole Miss game, he brought quite a few assistants over with him officially, and we're going to get into that. I believe some very strong hires. Even got some good coaches of his that even take demotions, which is kind of rare. I think it's a testament of guys that want to follow him on his journey here. But what were your initial thoughts after seeing some of the guys we plucked away? And we also hired a few new guys as well.
Yeah, so when when I saw that a lot of the excuse me, that a lot of the new coaches that were announced were former Tulane guys, I had the same like initial gut like ick reaction that I'm sure a lot of Gator fans did. Getting flashbacks to Billy Napier. But really when you think about it, these guys were, like you said, a lot of them took several of them took demotions. Like the OC, the Tulane OC is now coming to be a position coach. The Tulane DC coming to be a position coach. Um, and the guys who didn't take demotions, who like went from position coach, like Bam Hardman, he's had 23 all conference. He has coached 23 all conference players between his 2 years at Troy and his 9 years at or sorry, 2 years at Tulane and 9 years at Troy previously. So these aren't just your average Joes. These are high quality up and coming coaches. So yeah, I'm like I've said before, this coaching staff is going to get the benefit of the doubt from me until proven otherwise. So yeah, I'm happy with the guys who've been brought over. It's not everyone, not everyone's been brought over, but uh there are some really impressive looking guys, including the strength coach, who's he's a pretty exciting one. Rusty Witt. That's a perfect name for a strength coach, I think. I mean, he's got starting so he's former special forces, and I think the most important credential on his resume was that he headbutted a player after making a big play without a helmet on. So you see that picture of him floating around with just like blood pouring down his face. That's from him headbutting a player without a helmet.
That's the kind of strength coach you want right there.
That's the kind of energy we want on the sidelines. Yeah.
Hopefully, he doesn't teach our players to do that, though.
No, no.
Yeah. Our team doctor would not be happy.
Yeah.
Dr. Farmer, name drop there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
okay, like Trey said,
I guess we can kind of go through the each of the new hires one by one if you
right.
want.
Like Trey said, new quarterback coach, Joe Craddock, former Tulane OC, and then former Tulane DC, uh, who was Greg Gasparotto, is now the inside linebackers coach. Ben Hardman came over from Tulane to now coach edge rushers, outside linebackers. Evan McKissick was the co-OC and O-line coach, is now the tight ends coach here. Uh, Interesting move. We'll talk about that more. And then Jonathan Galante, who was a Broyles Award nominee
Hmm.
this season, had excellent special teams, which is music to Gator fans' ears. Um, I believe had an all-conference punter and kicker this season.
Hmm. And the kicker was the AAC Special Teams Player of the Year.
Oh man,
And yeah, both the kicker and the punter were first team all conference.
He already won me over. You
Hmm.
don't even say anymore. Excellent hire, and uh, I think that the bar was low, special teams wise. It did get better after Chris Couch left under
Hmm.
Napier, but it's been a while. It seems like we have finally another coach that really truly values special teams,
Hmm.
and that is just music to my ears. Like I said, I truly think with Florida athletes, you can change the game with special teams.
Yeah, and every coach is like, oh, special teams is 1/3 of the game. We really focus on and prioritize special teams. But I mean, it's very easy to say that. It's much more telling, I think, when you have countless special teams penalties, constantly bad field position. Uh, you know, so and like not even like not things not even like the punting and kicking game. 'Cause like punting and kicking, I feel like, or at least the punters and kickers themselves, I feel like we've always been pretty consistently good, even under Billy Napier. But it's all the other like little discipline procedural things, the attention to detail, um, that really can have a big impact on the game.
Right. And sometimes I don't understand kickers, just like kick the ball. But no, I'm not gonna make too much fun because they have a very hard job. And it's a lonely place to be a kicker sometimes.
It's true.
But in addition to that, we saw a few more off the field guys come over, but everyone was waiting on the running backs hire. And supposedly Summerall interviewed 10 different coaches for that position.
Really.
Right. And I know Chad Scott's name floated around there for a bit. Texas former running
Hmm.
backs coach who they just fired would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have been excited, but
I would not have. I would not have. I would not have been a fan of that hire.
well, Trey hated him. Okay. Well, thankfully that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so we then plucked away Chris Foster from Duke, who I think seems like a really solid hire. I saw some complaining about him online, which doesn't really seem to have much merit to me. I mean, we stole a guy from a Power Four conference champion.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was seeing some of the same stuff in like Instagram comments, I'm sure same as you did, of people of yeah, just taking a dump on the hire, being like, oh, like poverty program, we never should have gotten rid of I'm already Jabbar Jalouk. And I mean, yeah, I wanted to keep Jabbar Jalouk as well, but this is a really good replacement. This is about as good as we could have done. I mean, if you look at Chris Foster's resume over the years, I mean, he's been a running backs coach for a long time. I mean, I think almost 20 years. He's been coaching the position. And I mean, and just this year, Duke's running back was second in the ACC in rushing yards. He had 962 rushing yards, which is 5.4 yards per carry and 10 touchdowns, as well as almost 300 receiving yards. He was second team All ACC, and for what it's worth, first team Pro Football Focus. Um, yeah, and that's only just this past year. I mean, uh, one of the other big names who he's coached was Keaton Mitchell in 2022, a few years ago, had over 1,400 rushing yards at 7.2 yards per carry, in addition to 250
Mm,
yards and 15 total touchdowns. So, and he's a name that I'm sure a lot of fantasy football guys remember from a few years ago, jumping on the scene briefly uh, in his time with when he first got signed with the Ravens. But yeah, so I think this is about as slam dunk of a hire as we could have had at the running back position. It was much better than I expected us to do. I mean, even going back to he was a Broyles Award nominee at Georgia. What was it? Georgia Southern? Yeah, Georgia Southern in 2020. So yeah, he's certainly no slouch.
right. And you want to hire guys like that, that their trajectory is climbing. And he's gone from Georgia Southern to then Northwestern to then Duke. And
Hmm.
you know, now to the SEC. So you can see a guy that, is on the rise coaching wise, and that's the kind of guy you want on your staff. Chad Scott was, I believe, fired from West Virginia as the OC. Now he's got fired as running backs coach.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's hard to really put the golden stamp on guys like that are
Yeah.
kind of downslide.
Yeah, he would not have been an exciting hire.
Um, Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the staff has turned out. I think there's a healthy mix of both new blood and guys that came in with Summerall because there's no coach. Fans have got to just let go of this notion that there's coaches out there that don't bring anyone from their
Yeah.
former school. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Every coach is going to bring guys with them. Now, the determination they have to make in the future is if things aren't working, are they going to adjust? And I don't even think Summerall brought enough guys with him for him to really have that maybe that crossroads in the future. Maybe he will in small dividends, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But he hired new coordinators. He has quite a few guys coming from P4 schools as position coaches. Um, so I think he understands what he needed to do with the staff, and he also has some familiarity there too now with the guys he brought over, the guys that those guys know the expectations and whatnot. So overall, if I had to give a final grade, I'd say it's tough to grade without a game being played, but I'd say probably preseason wise, I give it an A minus.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, yeah, it's impossible to really make too educated of a grade determination without, yeah, like you said, without seeing games being played. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the staff turned out. I mean, the really important ones to nail were OC, DC, and O line coach, and which were the first three he did. And yeah, he knocked those out of the park, especially OC and O line coach. So yeah, like you said, he was going to bring guys with him, but what was important to see was, the guys he brought over were either or like elite at their coaching their position or took demotions to going from coordinator to coaching a position or being a co-offensive coordinator to coaching a position.
Right. And I know I mentioned taking away or plucking away power forward coaches. Um, there is, I believe, seven coaches on the staff now, the on the field staff that came from power forced jobs from the previous year. So that's a pretty good number. You might want to check my math on that, Trey, but it's either six or seven. Don't let the brain rot kids hear that.
Oh man,
But
you snuck
uh,
one in. You snuck one in.
we also forgot to mention there actually is a coach for the star position, Dawan
Yes,
Wilkins.
that's right.
He is only 25 years old. He was an off the field staffer last season, but he has now been promoted to star coach, which that's the first time I'm hearing one, but I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, we'll see how he does. There's no limit to how many coaches you can have now. So if you want to have a coach for every individual group, like even if you had a coach for field side safety and boundary side safety, I mean, if you have the
Mhm.
money for it and you can get the language right, everyone's on the same page, go for it. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, we could even have two coaches for the O line, and and
Right, we've never seen that before.
no, no.
But it is kind of with the star position, usually there's only like three or four guys that play that position, so he's not going to have a heavy workload, but um, I mean, opportunity is an opportunity. So, Day Wilkins, congratulations.
Yeah, and I think it's encouraging to see that as well. I think it indicates that Summerall is going through a filtering process, and a with with really some discernment because he's taking guys, a couple guys from the previous staff who stay, who he's keeping on, guys who from his own staff who he's bringing over, and guys from the outside who were coming from other jobs who haven't been a part of his staffs before. So I think it's good to see. It's encouraging to see a good mix of all those.
Yeah, it can't hurt to have outside ideas as well when you're hiring staff.
Mhm.
So I'm excited. I think it's pretty superior to the staff we've had the last 4 years. Obviously, the staff pool was bigger, but I mean, I think he just can identify coaching talent pretty well. For some people that might know, but if you've forgotten, he actually did have Gerald Chapman, our defensive line coach, at Tulane, and he had him hired away by us eventually. But I think he just has a good eye for coaches. Galante, Bam Hardman have been Broyles Award nominees.
That's right.
McKissick, I did forget to dive into McKissick a bit, but he's now the tight ends coach after being the O-line coach at Tulane and
Mhm.
co-OC. I would have liked to get, that's probably the only hire I was a little iffy on. I would
Mhm.
have liked to see a guy there. I'm not a non-believer in him as a coach or anything. I would have liked to see a guy at tight ends coach. I'm just a believer in him being a ferocious recruiter, and I would have been a fan of having a heavy Florida tie guy there. I'm not sure what McKissick's background is. I think he's from Alabama, but um, like Larry Scott, who went to Auburn to be their tight ends coach. He was a tight ends coach here back under Mullen. He is a Tampa guy. I would like to see us hire someone like that.
Mhm.
But I'm willing to see how he does. If Summerall thinks he's a dude that's good enough to bring over, then I'll give him a chance.
Yeah, and I
And
really like that. I like that he's coming from a. I mean, he's coached tight ends before, but I like that he's coming from the O line side, the blocking side of things. Because really, I mean, that is the primary function, the most important function of most tight ends is to support and provide an advantage in the running game. So the tight end blocking has been uh inadequate for the last several years for the most part. I mean, Hayden Hansen was pretty good, but outside of him, we haven't really had any tight ends that have provided an advantage in the run game. So hopefully, bringing in a tight ends coach who's also coached O line can help give those guys a boost there.
right, is it too much to ask for a tight end just that's good at one thing, catching or blocking? Because it feels
Mm-hmm.
like the tight ends we've had recently are good at neither.
Yeah.
But having just them be good at one thing would be nice to see. And I think McKissick will teach him how to block well. But speaking of that, Amir Jackson is apparently still in negotiations to re-sign with Florida next year. I think he's still got a lot of potential. Um, I would like to see him come back. I don't think he played enough. I don't think we played him enough. Um, we being Napier, so not really we anymore. But I think they favored Hayden Hansen a little too much. Didn't give other guys opportunities, maybe. But under new staff, it's a clean slate, and I think he's a former top 100 recruit. I think he's got the pedigree to take a chance on him still. Still a young player, but
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he like you said, he's a top 100 player. He's like 6'6", can run a 4.5. He played wide receiver in high school. So yeah, he's got a ton of talent. Yeah, really seemed underutilized by the previous staff. So hopefully we're able to hold on to him and they can put his talents to good use.
we're really going to see what these new coaches are made of right away during portal season. I know funds are tied to that a lot, but these guys are going to have to sell their vision hardcore to come to a team that was just 4-8 under and now has a new staff. So we'll
Mhm.
see their salesmanship right away, pretty much. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Tulane playoff game that they played against Ole Miss on the road, and they took another butt whooping. Unfortunately, not much of a different score than the first time they played Ole Miss. on the road as well. But I will say I watched pretty much the whole game, and I liked what I saw. I will say pretty much one of the first things I realized was how much bigger Ole Miss was. Like it was actually noticeable.
Yeah.
And on that first drive Ole Miss had where they scored in like 3 plays, I was like, oh gosh, like I don't even know Tulane should be on the same field. Honestly, I can't believe it's a like a playoff game.
Mm.
But I mean, Tulane is just a scrappy team. They're not, super fast or super big, but they're scrappy and they're tough. And they started to push Ole Miss around a little bit. Um, got some yards. It was 17-3 at half. Ole Miss was up, but uh, I felt like honestly there was just the coaching was fine. I don't think they had the talent to go say, "Hey, you make a play and go score." They tried to be really creative, run a couple trick plays, I believe, and they just really didn't have the horses. But the yardage battle was actually remarkably even, not so much even, but close. It was 497 Ole Miss to 421 Tulane.
Hmm.
Um, 300 passing yards for Retzlaff. Uh, Not a bad day for him, but they were also, I think what really killed him was John Summer likes to go for it on fourth down, and they were over four.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so just tough breaks there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think um it was good to see that he was, being aggressive because, you don't play to keep it close, you play to win. So even though they did get their butts whooped, you like seeing the coach taking the chances and really, go down swinging.
Yeah, he's not afraid to. He's a lot like Kiffin in that um, he's gonna go for gold, and he's not gonna apologize for it. And I like that about him. Dan Lanning's another guy that loves to go for it on fourth down, even if he's on his own like 5 yard line. I'm not sure I agree with that, but you know, I don't hate it either. But
Yeah.
overall, it was a tough game for them. They had been feeling the weight of what was going on that whole week. Summerall, I can't even imagine, what the guy has gone through mentally lately. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been working 2 jobs for 2 schools, and his father passes away
Yeah.
last week. Rest in peace to him. The guy has got a lot on his plate, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Well, I liked what he said in the press conference too after they lost. He said, because some people were like, "Oh, it's amazing you guys got here," blah blah blah, and he's like, "Well, we lost, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
And if you're ever around anyone in life that says it's okay to lose, get away from them."
Hmm.
I was like, wow, like his parents never told him, "Oh, but you tried hard, Johnny." It's like, no, they probably said, "Johnny, why didn't you win the game?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hear what he said about his dad. He was like, "Well, I'm not gonna have to hear about uh me losing from my dad tonight, but I'll hear it from my mom."
Oh gosh,
He's like, "Oh man."
he seems to like to make light of intense situations, kind of like throw a
Mhm.
joke in there. That's just his personality, which I can appreciate. Finding humor through pain, kind of, but. I like his personality a lot. I know we just got done for 4 years saying how much we liked our last coach's personality or how much of a nice guy he was, but I genuinely think Summerall seems like a cool dude and an easy guy to root for. But he wasn't the only, that was not the only playoff game. There was also Alabama, Oklahoma, which was a barn burner. Alabama was down 17 at one point, came all the way back on the road. And Kalen DeBoer, it seemed like was getting some pretty heavy smoke to Michigan, just online, and the usual things,
Yeah.
usual
Usual
culprits,
wishful thinking from
right?
the other fan
But
bases.
when they got down by 17, you have to be like, oh gosh, like is his mind elsewhere? Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
Um, but then Oklahoma just completely fell apart. I mean, gosh, it was really hard to watch.
Yeah, I remember, last week I was thinking that Oklahoma was gonna win because it felt like they were on a bit of an upward trajectory, and Alabama felt like they were just crashing. So I was feeling pretty smart for that first like quarter and a half, however long it was, and then man, yeah, things turned around just completely. So I mean, hats off to him for continuing to play and pull off the win there.
Yeah, I seriously thought that during that first half that DeBoer was thinking about his side chick too much, but
Yeah.
he got together and now they're through to the second round. So um, I'm trying to remember who they play again. I think they play Indiana, right?
Yep. Indiana.
Whew, that's quite a reward.
Yeah, that's good. That's an interesting game. Because yeah, now Alabama seems like they're hot. But Indiana, Alabama just can't run the ball.
They
Uh,
can.
they can't run the ball, and Indiana has, I believe, they're the top pressure rate team in the country. So if they don't even have to worry about only blitzing on or only rushing on passing downs. It's like they're pass rushing. They're going to be pass rushing the whole game. So Ty Simpson's going to be under duress a lot. He's probably going to get sacked a lot. He's going to have to play outside of his mind if they want to stay in it. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game because Alabama's got a good defense in their own right, but I think some things are really going to have to break their way if they want to pull out the victory.
So you're not picking them to pull off the upset.
No, I'm gonna go with Indiana because I mean obviously Alabama has the better talent roster, but so did Ohio State, and that did not seem to matter at all. So Indiana is just so well coached. They, you know, their defensive coordinator just seems to put together just such incredible game plans. Um, so yeah, I think Alabama has the better roster, in theory, but Indiana has the better team, and I think they're going to win and cover.
Right. And speaking of rosters, this is just amazing to me and a testament to how good of a coach Signetti is. I think he's the best coach in the game right now, honestly.
Oh
But
yeah,
looking at the team talent composite on 247, which is a model that conglomerates each team's talent and then ranks it against each other. Talent being the players they recruit out of high school or the transfer portal. And just for reference, Georgia's one, and we all know Georgia has had a lot of five stars the last since Kirby Smart's gotten there.
mm.
Alabama's two on the talent composite. They have 14 five stars. You want to take a guess where Indiana is? Number one seed Indiana.
What are they like number 72 or something?
They are number 72
Oh, they
exactly.
are.
They are. Good guess. They are one spot behind Iowa State.
That's wild.
Iowa State, who has one four star in their entire roster, they are behind them. But
That's
which I'm
crazy.
not sure how it's possible. But Indiana only has seven four stars on the entire roster.
Well, I guess I wonder if they're counting the transfer portal re-rankings.
They probably are, and in this particular viewing, I only see 67 players on Indiana's roster, so maybe they're accounting for guys or they're removing guys that have put their name in the portal. But that's kind of strange. But either way, Indiana's in the 70s in
Either
that,
way, it's a lot to a little. Mm.
right? And Alabama is second, and Indiana's favored, which is just crazy to me. So hats off to Kurt
Yeah.
Cignetti. Truly incredible what he's done. But then also we had Oregon and SMU as the nightcap game,
Team
which
JMU.
yes, JMU, sorry, JMU, the Fighting Dukes, and JMU. I thought actually put up a decent fight. I believe you told me before that you thought Oregon just kind of lollygagged a bit in the second half and all that, and I could see that.
Yeah, I think they were probably playing some threes and fours maybe in that second half. I mean, it was 34-7 or maybe even worse than that at halftime. So yeah, I think Oregon, if they really wanted to, could have named their score. As it was, they still put up over 50. But yeah, I'm sure Dan Lanning's not happy with them putting up or with them giving up over 30, even with them having backups in. But
And
yeah,
500 yards.
the game was never in question. Uh, so I mean, it was a nice story. JMU, based on the rules of the existing rules of the playoffs, JMU deserved to be in. Um,
Right. The
but
soon to be dead rules.
yes, the soon to be gone rules, hopefully. Um, but but yeah, no, the game was never in question.
Yeah, as I said, JMU put up 500 yards of offense, so good offensive performance for them. Tosh Lupoi, who is the Oregon DC, is going to be the Cal head coach, so maybe he was juggling other things and didn't have his A game, but I actually think Bob Chesney is a really good coach. I think UCLA made a great hire there, and I don't even know if they'll keep him a long time because I think if he has success, we'll see another big school, and not that UCLA is not a big school, but a blue blood school come calling for him. I really thought Penn State would take a closer look at him
Yeah,
since he's from around that area, but great hire by UCLA.
yeah,
Big
absolutely.
fan of Bob Chesney. Not a great day for Bob Chesney on that particular day, but he's still got a bright future. And we still have to get to one more playoff game. I don't want to talk about it a lot because I don't like them, but Miami did beat Texas A&M on the road, 10-3, in what was probably the biggest, most boring game you can possibly think of in your dreams that became a reality. Was it 3-3 at halftime or was it 0-0? I think it was 0-0.
I think no, it was 3-3. It was 3-3 at halftime. I remember
Oh,
because when it cut to halftime, it showed Mike Elko doing the Frank Beamer Virginia Tech meme where it's like
mhm.
end of regulation. There, it's like it's 0-0. Uh,
Yeah, because he's a defensive guy.
yeah, he was like, yeah,
Right.
let's go.
He's probably
Uh,
having the time of his life.
yeah, no, so that was pretty funny. He fulfilled fit the meme perfectly. But yeah, man, there were so many mistakes in that game. Anytime anyone had momentum, or it seemed like, man, A&M made so many really poor decisions. Like that fake punt. It's like I would have been okay with a fake punt there, but um, but what was that route? They called like a fade to the they had the punter throwing a fade to his weak side on a fourth and like 5 or something like that. That just seems like a ridiculous decision. Um,
It must have worked in practice. I don't know how.
it must have. I don't know, but yeah, that
Maybe
was
because
just
they
that
were
was
doing it
so
on air.
crazy. Like I wouldn't have hated going for it there with a fake, but yeah, no, that just seemed like a really questionable, really weird play call. Um, but yeah, and it wasn't just that. There were other things too that were just odd. It was
Right.
just a sloppy, really sloppy game from both
They
sides.
were really bad.
Yeah, and another thing is A&M refused to run the ball. They were dropping back and passing the whole game. When running the ball was working, they would run the ball like 3 times, get like 15, 20 yards, and then just stop and then throw it 3 times and have it, be and then punt. Yeah, that happened so many times. There was one coming out. It was a like a 3rd and 2. Like they had just run the ball twice to make it 3rd and 2 or something like that. And I was like, okay, run the ball's working. Surely they'll run it here. And then they go empty. And sure enough, it's a throwaway and punt. And it was just so many head scratching uh, decisions, not even from an individual play call standpoint, but just from it. They just seemed like they were refusing to run the ball when it was working.
Yeah, Colin Klein, who's now the Kansas State head coach, just like Tosh Boy, he did not have his A game. You got to wonder about guys that are, juggling play calling and becoming a head coach like that. I mean, years ago we saw Nick Saban cut Lane Kiffin loose when
Yeah.
he became the FAU head coach, and so let him call plays in the playoffs. And I don't know. I mean, based off some performances I saw by soon-to-be head coaches, maybe it's better they just, get going rather than sticking around. But it depends.
Well, I mean, Alabama lost that playoff game too, if I remember correctly. So,
Did they?
yeah,
Well, just ignore everything I said then. But Miami, I will say one thing about them. Mario Cristobal built that team like an SEC team, and he did a
Mhm.
great job of doing it. They have a capable veteran quarterback. They are really strong along both lines of scrimmage. They can beat you up on both lines of scrimmage. I don't know how they lose in the ACC, honestly. No one's really equipped roster-wise to stop them.
Yeah.
Well, I know how. It's Mario Cristobal. That's how they lose. But he built a really strong SEC style roster, and they focus on the trenches. They focus on the quarterback position. Even though Carson Beck is never going to wow you, I mean he still kind of does what's asked of him, and he's not the guy they had last year at all. But he's still a guy that I think they can depend on, and they will play. They will play Ohio State next, and that should be a good game, honestly.
Uh maybe. Um I don't have faith in Carson Beck. Uh I think A&M shot themselves in the foot more so than Miami, taking it. Certainly more so than Carson Beck, you know, doing anything. I really think A&M just shot themselves in the foot so many times.
Yeah, right.
Um so I don't think it's I mean maybe I'll be looking silly in a few days, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Ohio State, I don't know what the line is, but I think Ohio State's going to cover.
I agree with you. I do agree with you also that Miami did not take that game. I think they more so did less to lose that game because really Texas A&M, and really it's the last thing I'm going to say about it because we got to move on. But
Hmm.
it really felt like every time they seemed to get some momentum, they just shot one of their toes off again.
Yeah.
And their quarterback, I think he'll have his job still for next season, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't think he's a Heisman guy like they tried to hype him up to be.
No, I'm thinking the next game could be another classic Sid the Sloth three interception special. So see.
Right. Ohio State does have a great defense, so I don't. It could be another 10-3 game, or 3-3, or 3-0. Anyway, if you're a fan of offense, you're going to hate it. So just get ready for that. But moving on now to some big news that came out for Wednesday. Uh, Jaden Baugh was Jaden Baugh met with John Summerall, Buster Faulkner, and Chris Foster, new running backs coach, at his home in Decatur, Georgia. Uh, his family is also there. Big time meeting. I also read that John Summerall brought his family. This was Christmas Eve, by the way, um, for the short term memory people, but like me. But John Summerall brought his family over. Kind of made a day of it. They hung around, talked football. So negotiation wise, I don't think there's a lot of monetary talk. Maybe at the family home, but I do believe it's about getting to know Summerall better and his new position coach and his new play caller, and maybe what their plan is and how to use them in their new offense, and how the new O-line coach Troutwine, sorry, is gonna use him, not use him, build for him, and what kind of line he's gonna have in front of him to block for him, and by all accounts, the meeting went very well. So we're going to see what comes out of that in the coming days. But I believe everyone will be on pins and needles until then.
Yeah, I know I will be. The good news is even if we don't get him, it's not like it's the end of the world. But it would be really nice to hang on to him. And I think our odds are pretty good. Um, yeah, like you said, I think it. I'm assuming it's probably not just all right. Who's got the biggest paycheck? I think Jaden Baugh, or I'm hoping at least that he's more intelligent than that. Because I mean, it's not like we wouldn't be paying him anything. But yeah, hopefully the staff does a good job of convincing him that they can really, boost his production and get him ready for the NFL draft next season.
Yeah, and that Texas O line last season was rough, dude.
It was
I
Dookie,
mean,
is what it was.
yeah, it was Poopy and Dookie. And
Hmm.
if you put a, I don't know what he's gonna make, but if you put a $2 million running back behind a JV line like that, I mean, you just wasted your money big time.
Yeah.
Um, if I was Ball, and I'm sure he's a smart guy, he probably wants his due, his cut, but he's gonna want guys. He's gonna want enough funds to have guys in front of him that can block for him. So I imagine it'll also be the talk was about what their plan is for the O line going forward, which it was not bad run blocking wise last season. It wasn't great at times, but it needs to be better for sure, especially in
Mhm.
his money year.
Yeah, and the good news is if the O line takes a step forward next year, with better coaching from Troutwine, I mean, Jaden Bach could run for like 2,000 yards. Who knows? I mean, my goodness. The O line this year was really questionable for a lot of the year, and he was still putting up really, really great numbers. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can hang on to him. But only time will tell.
Him in a functional offense would be pretty fun to watch. Um, let's just pray to Santa we get that.
Yeah, late Christmas gift.
But, right. But also, some really exciting news just happened tonight, just broke, was that Fernell Brown III has officially re signed for next season. And I know a lot of people like to focus on Baugh and Dallas Wilson, maybe because Brown's a legacy guy and people like assume that he wouldn't leave, but he was probably our best overall. Well, maybe not best, but the way he returned punts and also affected the game as a receiver was really special for a freshman. And I think that he is a big time guy. Ohio State wanted him really badly for a reason. He is now officially coming back. He's a cornerstone piece to the offense that you can build around. And that's now 2 out of the 5 for the Fab Five that are officially back. Miles Graham and VB3 are officially signed, and 2 down, 3 to go.
Yeah, it was really important to keep him home. Yeah, yes, we had an advantage since he's a triple legacy, but you can't just take that for granted because I mean, Emmett Smith's son is not playing here. He's playing in the playoffs with Texas A&M. Well, was playing in the playoffs with Texas A&M. But yeah, so it's never a guaranteed thing. So it's important to make sure we value them. And he was our most, like you said, he was really productive for us this year. He was our most productive wide receiver. Not even he wasn't even just productive for a true freshman. He was our best receiver on the field. When you count availability, yeah, Dallas Wilson had the highest highs, but Vernell Brown was he just was so consistent throughout the year. So it was really good to hear that we're holding on to him and Miles Graham too, and Aaron Childs and Jaden Robinson have both come out and said they're staying as well. So it's good that we're keeping that linebacker core all together too because they've been really good this year.
Yeah, I like the retaining that's going on. We're seeing some really key pieces come back. We're seeing some experienced guys walk too, but so far, other than Makai Barrow, no one that I really would have fought that hard to keep. I also like Trey Wilson, but he probably is going to ask for a bigger deal than he really should have gotten here because we also have to pay 2 other elite receivers. And we have the incoming freshman, Davion Gross, coming, who I think is going to be immediate impact guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Either way, like I said, 2 down, 3 more to go. Zach Alberverdi did say tonight that well, the expectation was for him to resign. There was schools like LSU, Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M that were coming after him, through various contacts in the agency. And remember, his dad is his agent and is also a Florida grad, obviously. So that must have been a little sticky, but he was getting some big time offers from other schools. So it's never a sure thing, but it's great that it's a sure thing now. Happy to
Mhm.
have him back, and very excited. And hopefully in the coming days we'll get an announcement on Baugh and Wilson, and we'll all be happy Gator fans.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to move on to our mailbag segment. And I'll go ahead and read today's sponsor, Trey, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right,
allow it.
today's sponsor is Next. All right, good. I'm glad to have your permission. Today's sponsor is Next Year Hype Incorporated, providers of optimism regardless of evidence. Returning starters, culture fits, and one vague quote from camp. Next Year Hype Incorporated. This year didn't matter anyway. All right, go ahead and moving on now. Here's our first question. If you could handpick a quarterback from the transfer portal so far, who would it be? And caveat, it can be DJ Lagway since he's in the transfer portal.
Okay, so well, it wouldn't be DJ Lagway. Um, my
Thought I
first,
got you there.
what?
I thought I got you there.
Yeah, no. I do love DJ Lagway. I wouldn't have minded keeping him. I did want to hold on to him, but not if he's our only hope. Uh, but my first instinct would be to say Josh Hoover. He's really highly sought after in the portal right now. He seems to be it seems like he's an Indiana lock. And we know what they've been able to do with quarterbacks the last couple of years. But really, they're looking at the guys who are available in the transfer portal. There's no one who really knocks my socks off. No one who seems like a slam dunk, sure thing. Um, Kind of like there has been the last couple of years. I mean, last year Carson Beck, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of him as far as like his ceiling. He's still, he still has some low lows and some inconsistency. But overall, he has been a plus player. It's like he was in the portal last year. I keep forgetting his name. The Oklahoma quarterback this year, John Mateer. He, he seemed as close to a sure thing as there was going into the portal last year. There doesn't really seem like there's that level of player in the portal at the QB position, at least. So for me, it's less of who's the one guy we should go after, and more so like I'd rather we go after like bring in like three like maybe mid tier guys, um, and let them battle it out and see if one emerges.
Competition is never a bad thing, definitely.
How about you?
But
Who's your number one pick?
well, if I was a GM and I was going to draft a quarterback for my team from the class so far in the transfer portal, which it's not everyone, but as of now, it would be Drew Mestmaker from North Texas. And I know some people might say that he's more of a system quarterback because of his coach, Eric Morris, who's an offensive guy, an air raid guy. But I mean, looking at his stats, I mean, the guy just pops. I mean, 70% completion percentage, over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, also ran for 5 touchdowns. He's 6'4". He's a big guy. Um, I believe I've seen some draft sites say that he could be. He's only a freshman, so some draft sites are saying he could be a early NFL guy, early round NFL guy in a few years. But um, he's going to be a very hot commodity. It remains to be seen if he's going to follow his coach or not to Oklahoma State, which he could, but he's also going to get some heavy offers from elsewhere, especially Texas schools. It's going to be, if I were to pick a guy, it would be him to build my team around. And I could be wrong, and I could be another one of those GMs that's fired, but I wouldn't build my team around Lagway. I wouldn't build my team around a guy with a bad completion percentage like Colton Joseph at Old Dominion.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but if you complete sub 60% of your passes at Old Dominion, then if you go to the Big Ten or the SEC, it's probably not going to be great for you. And if your game is like Jackson Dart, where you like to run the ball and throw your body around, you're not going to last very long if you're a 200-pound quarterback in the SEC. But I do I do like Messmaker a lot, and that's who I would pick. But it's not up to me. Um, I would like him to stay away from the SEC if he doesn't go to Oklahoma State. So fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, I
Um,
think
all right,
I
question
would
number
have
two.
some. Yeah, I think I would have some concerns about this the system quarterback aspect of it. Granted, I mean, when I when I did watch him play, it didn't like it didn't like jump off that like I know the stats are incredible. The stats are great, but the stats, don't always tell the whole story. And I mean, I don't know. To be fair, the only two games where I watched him were the two games where they lost. So maybe there's a bit of bias in there. But yeah, Maker, he's definitely a hot commodity, and he would not be a bad pickup. He'd be an exciting one, but definitely one that I would still have a few concerns about.
Yeah, there's concerns with every quarterback in
Yeah,
the transfer
exactly.
portal right now. Probably there's no Cam Ward right now, but uh, hey, a lot of them are going to be, there's a big market. A lot of them are going to be overpaid, and that's
Mhm.
just kind of how it is. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to question number two and here it is right here. Two of the top five teams in the playoffs are portal heavy. Is the blueprint for success in today's game changing? And by two of the top five teams, I mean Indiana and Texas Tech.
I think the blueprint definitely has changed quite a bit. I think it hasn't fully shifted over to portal heavy as far as what is the best route for consistent success. Indiana, I think we can just throw any and all metrics out the window with Indiana. I mean, Kurt Cignetti is breaking all traditional logic about roster building and team building. Texas Tech, I don't think that they have the staying power. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna lose to Oregon. I think Oregon's gonna win pretty comfortably. Um, but I think the blueprint is still like the foundation to build the foundation through high school recruiting. But you do need the portal in order to get your team to that next level. That's one thing that Georgia finally dipped into the portal a little bit more heavily this past year, and that's why they're so much better at receiver than they have been since since Kirby Smart's been there. So I think that's why they've elevated a bit this year. Ohio State, we saw last year. Uh, yeah, they kept a lot of guys home, but they also brought in some guys through the portal who helped them win their national championship last year. So yeah, the blueprint is definitely changing, um, but I don't think, but the pendulum hasn't quite swung all the way. I don't think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to see a portal heavy team win the national championship before we can officially say the pendulum has swung. Indiana, obviously, the number one seed. They were a portal heavy team, but can they hold up? Can their roster, who is not a blue chip roster, hold up through a grueling playoff schedule? That remains to be seen. And then Texas Tech, I mean, I know they've got a lot of praise for their transfer portal guys they've gotten, which they did sign the number one transfer portal class last year, but their high school class this year was only ranked 17th, actually.
That's actually
Um,
better than I expected.
yeah, it's still much better than they do historically, but I think we're going to see them make another big run during portal season. And that's just a whole nother thing. I mean, there's so many new coaches that need new players and are going to lose the players they have, and they got to fill the holes that they have now. I mean, it's going to be complete madness during portal season. And they even shrunk it too now. There's only one window, and it's only like 2 weeks long. It's going to be absolutely insane, but
Mhm.
also entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, Final question here. And this one is definitely controversial. How do we feel about players re-signing in today's college game? Which we've seen a lot of announcements of so and so has re-signed with Texas Tech or re-signed with Florida, and is it's really the first time we're seeing that verbiage in college football.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't like it. I don't think anyone really likes it. It's yeah, it's a change. It's all it is really is a change in verbiage. It's the same thing that it's been the last couple of years, but still, it's one step closer to just you know outright saying that the players outright saying everyone, all right, everyone go to the portal every year and see what you can get. But I think it would bother me less if it was just the players who like maybe there was a coaching change or something uh, that would cause like a change in the contract. That would bother me less if it was those players saying that they were re-signing. But yeah, if there's not an established, uh, if there's not a change to the established order as far as the coaching staff and everything, it's wild that the players essentially are just on 1 year deals every year. I don't know if they're going to keep doing things like that or if, I mean, Georgia is suing that one player. Uh,
Damon Wilson, yep.
yeah, for leaving without paying his buyout. Um, so I mean, as crazy as that sounds, I feel like that'll be that's a good thing to see because I mean, the players need to honor the contracts they signed too, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely poopy verbiage. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, and just like you said with buyouts, I mean, people love to say, "Oh, coaches can leave whenever they want, so why can't players?" But like, which is kind of true. But also, coaches have built-in clauses, and they do have buyouts they have to pay the school if they leave suddenly. Like I believe Lane Kiffin's was like 3 or 4 million around there, which isn't a ton to him. But I mean, he had to give restitution or reimbursement to the school that he was
Mhm.
at. And if a player leaves, suddenly after receiving money or whatnot, which you might not see as much of now because the spring portal is gone, but um, I believe Damon Wilson transferred in the spring portal. But it's if a guy takes money and then leaves the team suddenly, then logic says you have to pay the money back that you took. That's just fairness, basically. And I hope that I don't know what's going to come of that lawsuit that's over there in with Georgia and the Damon Wilson guy who's now at Missouri. But honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I hope Georgia wins it
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
because there needs to be a precedent set that there's causes and effects and there's consequences and whatnot, and players need to understand that. Well, I mean, I'm all for Florida being competitive and giving guys competitive offers and being aggressive, but
Absolutely.
no fan wants their school to get left high and dry and
Hmm.
be be screwed over. So I don't like, and like you said with the 1 year deals, I don't really like that. Not really a fan. Um, there is the tricky part though. Like if you give a guy a huge 2 year deal and then like after year one you realize that he's terrible, then you're kind of stuck with paying him that
Hmm.
amount of money another year. There's that
Yeah.
thought process, but there's people way smarter than me that are gonna try to figure that out in the future. Hopefully they do, but
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of equilibrium found.
let's hope. Or maybe we should just like both become lawyers and get into that lucrative field now, where the
Yeah.
agents get 10% of all these contracts.
Yeah. I don't think we need to become lawyers to do that, man. Anyone can become an agent, these days for college.
They hiring agents without law degrees now?
In college, they are.
Oh gosh. Well, uh,
Well, you
I,
think all these players, uncles and relatives who are their agents are all have law degrees.
Right. They used to just call them handlers, but now I guess they're agents now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're comfortable with, then, whatever floats your boat. But I think you should have, some legal understanding too of the rules to have an agent or to be an agent.
Yeah.
But not my money, not my problem.
Nope.
Money, more problems,
That's right.
Scott said. But yeah, anything else to add to that, Trey, before we
No,
sign off?
I think you've covered it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on tonight's show. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Happy holidays again. We'll be back next week with more takes, more highlights, and maybe a few more bold predictions. Transfer portal's coming up real soon, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Getting excited. All right. But until then, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Gators. Adios from Two Guys, One Swamp.
Heck yeah, baby. Go Gators.